Hi everyone, welcome to Bible Blast and Lesson 6. Guess what we're talking about today? If you said Noah's Ark and the global flood, you are right. Look at this model. I got it from Answers in Genesis. It's actually from the Ark Encounter. Down in Kentucky, they have a life-size ark, and people can go through the ark and learn all about the Bible. It would be a really cool place to visit. Anyway, I'm going to be picking up from where I left off yesterday. We had been talking about Cain and Abel, how Cain had killed his brother. Well, sadly, Adam and Eve lost both of their sons because Abel was dead and Cain had to go away from the family as a fugitive and a vagabond, as a criminal and a wanderer in the earth because of what he had done. But in God's mercy, God gave Adam and Eve another son, and his name was Seth. And Seth was a blessing to Adam and Eve. Seth looked like his father, and Adam and Eve had many more sons and daughters. Well, men began to multiply in the face of the earth. And in the 9th generation after Adam, there was a descendant called Noah, and Noah was a good man, a righteous man who did right in the eyes of the Lord. And everybody else on the earth was not doing right. In fact, the Bible tells us that the thoughts of their hearts was only ever continually wicked and evil. Imagine a world like that. So Noah and his wife had 3 sons. So I'm going to show you Noah. There's my little Noah. Hello. Here's his wife. Hello. And here are their 3 sons. We have Shem. Hello. Ham. Hello. And Japheth. Hey there. And they had 3 wives. Hello. 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 So God told Noah that the end of all flesh was before him. He says, I will destroy all living things on earth, for because of them the earth is filled with evil and violence. He says, make an ark out of gopher wood. Well, I have no idea what gopher wood is. Maybe one day we'll ask the Lord. But he says, make rooms in the ark and cover it inside and out with pitch. That's kind of like tar, so that no water would come in. He says, make the length of the ark 510 feet, the width is 85 feet, and the height is 51 feet. So the ark would have been plenty big enough to house all of the animal kinds that God would send to Noah. Now, by animal kinds, I don't mean all the different types of dogs you might know. German Shepherd, Bulldog, Boxer, Corgi. No, we're talking animal kind. Like 2 would be like 2 wolves, and all the dog kinds came from the 2 wolves. Or the horses. God didn't send zebras and donkeys. He just sent 2 representing all of the horse kind. So there would have been so much room on the ark for all of those creatures. Anyway, God says, you shall do this because I shall send a flood upon the earth, which shall destroy every living thing. But with you I will make a promise, and the promise shall be called a covenant, which is a very special promise. You shall enter the ark with your sons, and your wife and your sons' wives. Of every living creature upon the earth you shall bring into the ark 2 of each sort to keep them alive with you. They shall be male and female, birds of all kinds, cattle, and every creeping thing. So let's see what I have here. We have 2 elephants. There's a couple of dinosaurs here. There's a couple more. Let's see. I have a couple of cows there. A couple more dinosaurs. And God told Noah to take food for all the animals and for his family. He was going to be aboard the ark a long time, a year. So there they are building the ark. And it looks like there's a lot more than Noah and his 3 sons. Maybe Noah hired skilled labor to help him build the ark. It's possible. The Bible doesn't actually tell us that, but it's possible. So after about 75 years, the ark was complete. And God said to Noah, "Come into the ark, you and all who are with you. 7 days from now, I will cause it to rain upon the earth for 40 days and 40 nights." Do you wonder what was happening for those 7 days? Maybe God was giving the people on earth a chance to think about what Noah had said to them, because in the New Testament, Noah is called a preacher of righteousness. So maybe he had been telling people that they needed to turn from their sins and get their hearts right with God. So possibly for those 7 days, maybe God was being patient and just giving them a little bit longer to think about their need to be saved from their sin. Sadly, nobody came, nobody repented. And so finally God shut the door and the rains began and water burst forth from the ground. And the ark rose from the earth. This is actually another model I have, but this one is made out of very light cardboard. But look how big it is. You know, the ark was only built to float. It didn't have to sail anywhere. But you know what? There was no place for it to sail because the water had covered even the highest mountains. And so all of the earth was covered with water. There was no place to sail. They just needed to be in the ark. It just needed to float and keep everybody safe. Well, finally, the rain stopped. God remembered Noah and every living creature with him in the ark and caused the wind to pass over the earth to quiet the waters. So the water stopped coming from the ground and the water stopped coming from the heaven. And after 150 days, the water had gone down so far that the tops of the mountains could be seen. Well, 40 days later, Noah let out a raven, and the raven just kind of flew here and there. Well, then he let out a dove, but there was no place for the dove to land. So she came back to Noah, and he brought her back inside the ark to safety. So he waited 7 more days, and then he sent out the dove again. And this time, she came back with olive leaves in her beak. That meant she had found olive trees. So Noah waited 7 more days, and this time when he let the dove out, she did not come back again. That meant she had found somewhere to live and a place to build a nest and lay eggs. So the earth had dried up, there was no more water, and God told Noah to leave the ark and take all the creatures that were aboard the ark and his family to come out of the ark. So Noah built an altar to the Lord and offered him burnt offerings. And the Lord said he would never again curse the ground for man's sake, that for as long as the earth remains, seed time and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night will never cease. So God blessed Noah and his sons and said to them, "Be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth." And he told them that from now on all the animals would be afraid of them because now they could hunt animals for food. So in addition to the plants, Noah and his family and any other people that came from them would be able to eat the animals. And God put a rainbow in the clouds and said that that was a sign of a promise he was making to Noah and all of the creatures of the earth, that he would never again send a global flood to destroy all flesh. Now, you know, the other day we talked about dragon legends all over the earth, and that they have their base in truth. Well, in the same way, there are flood legends all over the earth among all the people groups. That meant as people talked about the flood, they passed it down by word of mouth, and different people learned about the flood. Of course, the details and those legends are not as well done as the details that God has recorded in the Bible. And also, there are fossils found all over the earth in deep layers of rock. And those are signs of all the animals that died in the flood. So you can see God's word is true. And we know that because God cannot lie. So I want to let you hear a song that's from the Answers in Genesis curriculum. It's called Noah and the Ark. The sins of man grew in God's sight. They loved sin more than God. Because they loved sin more than God, God would judge them. Noah was a righteous man. He loved God, obeyed his plan. He built the ark just like God said. God showed mercy. God brought the animals 2 by 2. They marched on board, dinosaurs too. God shut the door, the rains began. Noah's flood. Just like the ark in ancient days, God's word says Jesus saves. Perfect salvation from the grave, Christ our Redeemer. Thanks for listening, boys and girls. Don't forget to come back next time where we learn more about God's Word. Bye for now.